Yahweh Shalom Ad Barak. Father's peace and blessings to you. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum Wa Barakatuh. Father's peace and blessings be unto you. Bienvenido. Welcome. It's time for a party. Today's party is called Keep Your Focus. We get together 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time daily, except for Shabbat. To some, Shabbat will be counted as Saturday. On Sundays, we get together for question and answer periods. And for the other days throughout the week, we have 10 special interest groups. And we've given each of them their own specific day. Today, special interest group is Riley Barkley. And we focus on the perspectives of organic marketing strategies, considering whichever group, business, or venture. With Riley Barkley, we're looking at digital nomad. I look over to the side because my handy dandy notebook's over there. I need these to actually see what was written, but just looking at the page, because it's just without of arm's reach, about another foot away from my fingertips. But just looking at the page, I could remember. Digital nomad. Come out of that sunken place. Kwam Yasharaya. Gonna play a little music while we wait for everyone to come on in. We're rocking and rolling. We've been rocking and rolling since before the electric guitar. We were rocking and rolling since before that boat that no one wants to talk about. We were rocking and rolling already on boats because we were visiting, traveling, and casting nets. I see 3 in YouTube land. Shout out to YouTube and to TikTok land. For everyone who does tune in over in TikTok, my apologies. I won't be pushing the buttons to go and see what the comments are. So we are doing a multi-channel broadcast out of one device. When we can upgrade the studio, I'll be able to not just speak on these 2 channels. Got ways and means to do a lot of things. We're working with the tools we have. See the numbers going up in YouTube land. Welcome to all of you. Yahweh Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum Wa Barakatuh. Father's peace and blessings to you. See here. Bryson Miller. What part of me made you think I was Snoop Dogg? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, collective audience, Bryson Miller says, I thought you was Snoop Dogg. What part of my demeanor and how I am talking made any of that think? Made any? Okay. I'll put the question out there, and you got a minute to respond. I'm waiting for a few familiar faces to show up, and then we're going to get this party started because actually, yeah, we came in with an agenda. We're here every day, except for on Saturday, because there are some other people that we speak with. Who do we have here? Mally Mays. Shalom Barak to you. Peace and blessings. More of the Stitch Girl. Hi. Are you into sewing? I may have seen you here before, as a matter of fact. I think I asked you the same question. Are you into sewing? What is 12 times 12? It means you've got 12 dozen, 144. Or that could be 12 by 12. Are you talking length and height? That's on you. People used to ask me, what's my problem? I tell them 2 plus 2. Oh, you're new? We're all new. We're all new. There's no other make and model of you. You do so awesome. That is awesome. One of the special interest groups that we talk about is STOP, sustenance, textiles, occupations, purpose. So you work with textiles. You are somebody who's in my scope. How am I? Oh, the day is going great. You say I'm amazing. I am. I imagine that you are too. Look at the word amazing. Put someone in a maze to behold what it is that you do. They would be lost trying to navigate the things that you do. So I'm sure you are amazing as well. I've done a little bit of stitching and patchwork myself. I don't know if I could just really put together a whole outfit. It would take me a while. That's something I aspire to do though. So yeah, you say you made a pillowcase for your old teacher. Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. Um, I used to take apart my big T-shirts. Uh, let's see, there's a seam. I'll cut these the sleeves. Use those for my headbands, and then cut that seam right here at the collar and fold those. Then I would have turbans. What do? I am a graphic illustrator. I am a musician. I am a publisher. I am a promoter. And at the moment, we are experiencing what is called Makrid. And today, in some people's calendars, they would say it's Juma. Today is Friday. I happen to be an imam. There are people who have misgivings about Muslims and have discrepancies, and a lot of people are misinformed. So, actually, I'm here to give out information that um, adheres to modern day issues as well as expose and bring out to light, bring out to fore these questions that people have. So I actually do have a Quran. It's in Arabic and English. It also has information for background as far as what's going on when we're reading through the passages. Then I go back and I say, okay, well, how does that relate to the Bible? How does it relate to the Apocrypha? How does it relate to what we have going on today? And is it the same as what people are saying that is the standard to be Muslim? She was in a group called AKA, and their colors were pink and green. So I made a pink and green for her. Okay, your teacher was in a sorority. I've had people ask me if I'm Kappa Alpha Psi. They ask me if I'm Alpha Psi Alpha. They ask me if I'm Omega Psi Phi. I can't go Greek. I can't go Mycenaean. I'm Farsi. I'm Persian. If you went all the way to my roots, I'm Avra, what some would call Hebrew. That's the other reason why I'm on here. Uh, as I said, this is really an entrepreneurship focus. That's what the scope is. Most people, when they're doing uh, entrepreneurship, business, and so forth, most people don't have a real standard that they're supposed to be using as far as ethics are concerned. It's going to do that, Molly Mays. It's going to do that. It'll freeze every now and then. I'm not expecting to have a completely clear channel because I'm not a high end network. I'm here to let you know that right now we are communicating on Web 2. I'm also active in Web 3, where it's a lot more stable. I'm here because you don't know where to find me in Web 3. You have a book called Muslim Girls Rise, Muslim Girls Rose, Rise. So what do I do? Once again, I'm a graphic illustrator. I'm a musician. I'm a publisher. I'm a promoter. I'm an imam. Right now, we are in the middle of a khutbah because the time of day is Maghrib. We get together 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, that's not saying that's the time zone I'm in. I'm saying that so that anybody in the general audience would know, okay, that's the time zone he's using. All right. Muslims pray 5 times a day. You can't even go live yet. How many people away are you from in your audience if you have 50? All you need is 50. I'm your favorite. Oh, I thank you. Tada, shukran, gracias, spasibo. Thank you. Thank you. And mucho me gusto. It's my pleasure to be here in front of you. In order for you to get more subscribers, I say post more. And that's the other reason why I'm here. You're asking me what I do? Okay. You have those content creators, and then you have the influencers and all that kind of stuff. Okay, well, I've listened to some of them. I've taken notes from some of them. I like Adam Ivy. I like the fact that he talks about organic content. You only have 17? Well, don't say only. All right, now check this out. Imagine this. Let's say I post a YouTube short video. Right? 1 minute, you get up to 3 minutes. They'll put it into the ranking of a YouTube short. All right. If I get 200 views, 17 of them came from my subscribers. Right now, while we're talking, to be honest with you, I did get a text in from one of the people who's a regular in my audience, and she said she couldn't make it. She had some things going on, right? Um, there's normally two people that would hang out while I'm doing the whole broadcast. Two people, while there would be people going in and out. By the end of my 2 hour session, they might say I have 35 views. The whole time, there's only been two people who were actually subscribed. If you only have 50, then you're ready. If you have 50, then you should be able to go live. That's okay. This live is in the links. If you go and if you check in my channel, this will be here later. And I thank you. Thank you for coming to the party. I really do appreciate it. I really do. This is dedicated to all entrepreneur spirits and all those who are trying to grow. So please, you're welcome anytime. And thank you. Please come by at any time, and you're welcome at any time. Thank you. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and boogie with this party because actually we're picking up from where we left off yesterday. More of the Stitch Girl. I hadn't forgotten about you. So today we're talking about Riley Barkley. I don't know who of you in the audience has heard of a show called Boondocks. There's Riley Freeman, who's a cartoon, and then there's Charles Barkley, who's a real person who plays basketball. Hey, you're back. You ate very quickly. So I'm describing what's going on with today. Oh, if you decide you want to go live today, then by all means you should do so. I'm going to make sure. Let me see here. I got Molly Mays, and I also have more of the Stitch Girl. Give me 1 second. I want to write those two names down. While it's on my mind, I need a pen. All right. So with Boondocks, you got Riley Freeman, and that's Huey Freeman's brother. You ask me what I do. Imagine Huey Freeman grown up, because I was a child doing and saying the things that comic strip is talking about before that comic strip was drawn. All right, here we go. Bye, Molly. Have a great day. You haven't posted in a while, more. Okay, well, that's really something that we've been talking about for the last week or two. Um, sometimes you might wake up and you hear the craziest things have been happening in the world today. Everybody wants to tell you all this crazy news. The sky is falling, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. Then somebody comes along and they actually say, although so and so is happening, here's something we can do to fix it. And that light bulb comes on in your head. Bing! That motivation pops in your heart. Boom, boom. Instead of scrolling through the different social media platforms, sometimes we have to be the ones who do that for other people. That same inspiration that you feel when you're sitting there at the coffee shop and you hear somebody talking over in the corner, you got these rude people at the counter. There's always some rude people waiting for their coffee, not the barista, the people waiting for their coffee want to be rude. But then you hear somebody over in the corner saying something that brings back your faith in humanity. Take a note of that. Go back and post it. As a matter of fact, write a list of 10 different things that motivate you. You don't have to post all 10 of them in one day. The idea is to line it up to where you could post about one of them per day as a start. And you could post about that one thing on that day 3 different ways. You're into stitching. Okay. There's patterns and patches, and sometimes people stencil uh, anime and manga characters and stuff like that, or whatever you're into. There's ways to generate those images. I can hand draw. I'm going to show you something so you understand where I'm coming from. When I tell you that I'm a graphic illustrator, I'm not just throwing words at you, okay? Got some friends, and we have drawn comic books inside of composition notebooks. Now I can turn around and use a scan of one of those images and then tell AI what I wanted to do for more definition. Or I can just conjure up an idea from my mind and tell AI to conjure up an image. For all the people out there that were trying to say you're selling yourself cheap for doing so. No. How many times has someone who has a business went to someone else and said, hey, I need you to design something for me on a sign? And the only reason anybody in the public's going to know who did the sign actually is because there's a signature somewhere on there. Or that person who got the sign said, hey, I got the sign from so and so. They're great. right? So if you do patchwork, stitch work, you are an artisan. You are an artist. There's more to you than just your patchwork. You don't have to tell the world everything about yourself. You can tell the world some things because there's going to be times where when you post something, there's other people who can reflect on it, relate, and then now they want to share their world with you. They're not going to give you everything about them, but you've shown them something that you contemplate on. So the more you post, the more you'll start generating traffic. That's why you want to do the 1 minute, 3 minute, or even 30-second posts. And then there's also you can post up a picture and then just write out some details underneath it. That's available for you too. As I was saying earlier, yeah, there's a few different. Let's see if I can adjust this camera a little bit. If you knew how I was propping it up, you'd laugh right now. Mhm. Imagine two milk crates and it's sitting on top of a Anchor battery pack while leaning on a backpack on some more of my comic book notebooks. Not a GoPro. Go Nomad. Nomad Studio. How many artists have you heard who said you have to have the perfect studio setup and the perfect studio environment in order for you to make the perfect content? Really? So did you perfectly walk down the street and perfectly looked up in the sky and perfectly saw the perfect birds flying across the perfect clouds at that perfect moment? Or did it just happen because you were there? There are things that you can set up for. Trying to get away from the glare. That is one of the rules. Don't have a glare all in people's face. We'll go over here. All right. Much better. Nomad Studio. Do you like to take nature walks? While you're walking along the pathway and you're humming along to yourself and that bright idea came to mind, it's not about going live at that moment. It's about hitting record. I looked up one day and decided that I wanted to try to go live, realized that I could. Now, I didn't know when I had hit the threshold. You can look on my Angelic Discipline account for YouTube. I started in 2014. I have 41,000 views right now. It's not because I dropped a video over here and made 1,000 views and then another over here. There's maybe 3 or 4 incidences where that happened. Most of the views say 20, 30, maybe 100. Started using short videos. I would get 200 views, 400 views, 800 views. Anything over 3 minutes suffered the consequences. My long videos get the same amount of views as my live footage. The difference is the count will be if there are two people watching a live for 2 hours, that's 2 hours of view time. So there's an influx that comes in of new people compared to people who have always been there. You'll find that in YouTube studios. There's YouTube itself, where you have your channel, YouTube Music, where you can just have a playlist of music. And then there's YouTube Studio. You go there to find out what's really going on with your account and adjust the things that you want to adjust. This is important because While those analytics are available for YouTube, you can also find those same analytics in your TikTok studio. It's part of the reason why I am doing a multi-channel cast is because you can do these same things in both. If I wanted to, yes, I could also be on Facebook right now. If I wanted to, yes, I could be on Twitch right now. When you ask me what is it that I do, it was out of choice that I came onto live platforms. I've been busy since 2016 publishing records. At this point, I think there's 6 records that have been released. Going through some issues right now with my PRO, it's the Publishing Rights Organization. A lot of people who say that they are musicians say that they use Ditto or DistroKid or CD Baby and things like that in order to get their publishing done. Other people say, well, no, I don't even worry about all of that. I just make a beat and then I go sell it. I'm not in it for any of that. How many people say they're content creators and then they have to turn around and go and find some license free instrumentals to play in the background? While observing all of that happening, I decided, you know what? I'm a content creator that can actually make my own music. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find a way to develop a label that is mine because I had no interest in signing with a major label. I had no interest in trying to just sell my instrumentals to anyone. I wanted to develop a label so that I could actually broadcast the things that I would like to hear. In 1994, I gave up my music collection. In 1995, I started hanging out with independent artists, and I'm talking about guitar players, drum players, keyboard players, vocalists, people who were traveling on tour, playing at venues. I was learning the other side of what they call the music game. There's people who think it's all about finding a recording booth somewhere and recording the greatest hit, then going out there trying to sell it and performing it so that someone will notice them, and then a major company will give them a large contract and they're set. I learned the real story of what it's like to be an artist, to be a musician. I'm here to tell you, art goes beyond somebody picking up a paintbrush. It goes beyond somebody picking up a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. It goes beyond someone sculpting clay or marble. It goes beyond someone doing ballet across the stage. It goes beyond picking up an instrument and playing it and being in the correct tones and rhythmic measures. Because somebody had to build that stage. It's an art. Woodworking is an art, not just making a chair, which is also an art form. One person plays the piano eloquently, another person can build them. Artisans. Today's party is called Stay Focused. If any of you are into sports and you know who Charles Barkley is, imagine Michael Jordan, only stouter and stronger. Michael Jordan has a nice, lithe, kind of cat-like build. Well, Charles Barkley is built like a tank. Same height, different body build. So imagine if Riley Freeman grew up to be the size of Charles Barkley. Same value system here, though. Riley Freeman. And then you got Huey Freeman grew up and he looks like Ludacris grew some dreadlocks. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you exactly who Riley Freeman looks like, or Riley Barkley. Riley Barkley looks like Slim Thug. So imagine, and I ain't talking young Slim whatever. No, I'm talking about Slim Thugger from H-Town. Riley Barkley looks like Slim Thugger. And you're looking at me, and I've had people already tell me I look like Luda, and I say, no, Luda looks like me. I'm his older brother. So yeah, when I'm hanging out with my brother, it looks like Slim Thug is hanging out with Ludacris. Who am I? What do I do? I'm here to hang out with you. Been a minute since I saw my brother eye to eye, face to face. I love my brother. His last words were, stay focused, man. Nomad Studio. I don't have to go and pay someone expensive amounts of money for sound engineering and recording. I'm not the best at it. However, I can mix and master my own music and then present it to the people. If I want it to sound a specific kind of way, I can. If I want it to sound gritty, which is what I prefer, then yes, it will sound gritty, yet it will be crisp. It will emote my feelings. Just this phone. So imagine if I had a phone, a tablet, and a laptop. And I can put all that in a backpack. Go wherever I need to go, do whatever I need to do, capture whatever footage, upload it, properly register it, and not only generate income, but also influence other people to realize that what they have here is valuable enough to present. And how do you actually become more potent? Are you just using one platform? Do you post from other places? Do you have other platforms that you use outside of your circle of friends? Do you go to these other platforms just to interact with the same friends that you have? Or are you actually trying to interact with other people? Adam Ivy has a tactic. Think of 10 hashtags. Now, in 10 days, you're going to use one of them hashtags for each day. Now, you're going to post some content. You're going to use the hashtag because it represents after you've done that. Then you go back and you put the hashtag, whatever, in search. And you go and you look at other people who have posted stuff about that. And when you see something that you like, you go in and you put a fulfilling comment, not a smiley face, not a heart, heart, heart. Type in some words saying what jumped out at you when you saw that post. because then people will see, oh, this is a person. And yes, I'd like to respond to that person. You took the time to actually say, hey, this is what I feel. So, yes, I most definitely am compelled now to respond to you. Now you set up interaction. That's what you're trying to get anyway. Now, whether that person decides they want to be part of your audience, that's up to them to decide. Because I'll tell you, if it's me and I see, oh, here's a person who responded, I'm going to respond in kind. And then I'm going to hit the button that takes me to their profile. Every now and then I go there first before I even respond because I want to see who I'm responding to. You never know what the avatar shows. However, I get to see what your portfolio is as soon as I open up your channel. Tells me exactly who you are and what you're doing. So if there's nothing there, I might scratch my head about responding. It depends on what was put there. You see, because I come from a place where we have snarky responses. We're always going to be respectful. And more than likely, the majority of the time, we're going to give you the best greeting possible. And then afterwards, whatever it is that you've greeted us with, whatever it is that you've presented us with, and I'm saying us because I'm not just talking about self and the royal we, I'm talking about me, my circle, my family, those who walk the same walk as me. We have a certain practice of how we act and communicate. So yeah, if a person does come across a certain kind of way, then yeah, you might get a snarky return, or you might get a matter of fact response. Or if I feel in my empathic zone that you need to be cheered up, then I will state that. Or if I need to borrow some of that joy you got, I might make a remark about that too. Who knows, right? So all of that can be expressed from your social media profile. That's the power that you have. Instead of just scrolling through and wondering why there's all this garbage, because you haven't put a treasure out there yet. Why are you waiting on somebody else to do it? People used to complain about TV. There ain't nothing to watch on TV. Now people spend hours and hours scrolling through their phones talking about there's nothing to watch on this phone. Turn on Netflix, put a movie on while I scroll on this phone. Selah. My brother told me to keep focus because I have a plan. I've been given some blueprints to build a digital public broadcasting system meant specifically for those who want to be of service in the kingdom of Yahweh Elohim, Ravak HaKadosh, at Yahweh Yahshua HaMashiach. All praises to our source of sustenance and mercy. When you ask what I do, I am an imam who happens to know technology, and I am trying my best in my mission to strive to get that message across. There are a lot of lies, there's a lot of distractions in this world. So, anytime I spend time in front of you, whether it's live like this or if it's something that I post and share with you, it is my attempt to put something out here that is not a lie and it's not a deception. That's what I do. Yesterday, we started reading in Surah Al Kahf. We were learning about the people of the cave. People of the cave can be compared to Muslims, or those known as the believers. Mushrikeen are the unbelievers, whether they have not confessed to believe in the way because they disagree, or they have confessed to follow the way and then turned back and did otherwise. We've gotten into studying about the Battle of Badr and also the Battle of Uhud. And I told you the reason why is because it goes all the way back to the day of Asher, ASR. Some also pronounce it Ashura. So I went digging around today just to check where we're going to go after we finish this surah. I found something interesting of note. The day of Ashur is also known as the day Musa guided the people through the Sea of Reeds to escape Pharaoh. That would be the day after Passover. Now, I've been guided to speak about Ashur because it's mentioned several times over. Remember the day, remember the day. Now, that wasn't the only time. The day of Ashur is also the day Ibrahim made a pact with Melchizedek. Selah. We'll get into studies on it as time passes. I just wanted to share with you all something I found out right before I signed in. And we are at the 43-minute mark. We started about 10 or 15 minutes into the hour. So that means we're coming up on 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got about an hour. So I'm going to finish out with these. I wouldn't even be able to tell you how many ayahs in this surah, what's left over. Let's get to the bookmark. All right. The reason why we were led to Surah Al-Kahf is because I was wanting to tell you all a story about when Musa went searching for knowledge. So before we start in the new section, I'm going to go back and read the section we closed with. Actually, let me see here. I'm going to go back a few. So I want to start completely with the story. So there's section 9 and section 10, and then we start for today. Now tell them about the story of Khidir, to whom Allah has given special knowledge. The Prophet Musa was asked to go to him and learn from him. When Musa set out to meet him at an appointed place, he said to his young servant, I will not give up my journey until I reach the junction of the two rivers, even if I have to spend ages in travel. It so happened that when at last they reached the junction of the two rivers, they forgot about the fish they were carrying, which made its way into the river and disappeared. When they had passed on some distance, Musa asked his young servant, "Let us have our breakfast. Really, we are worn out with this traveling." He replied, "You know, I forgot to tell you about the fish, which made its way miraculously into the river when we were resting beside that rock. It was Shaitan who made me forget to mention this incident to you." Musa said, "That is the place we were looking for." So they went back, retracing their footsteps. There they found one of our servants, Kidir, whom we had blessed with special favor from ourselves and whom we had given special knowledge of our own. Musa requested of him, "May I follow you so that you may teach me from that true knowledge which you have been taught?" He answered, "Surely you will not be able to bear with me, for how can you have patience about that which is beyond your knowledge?" Musa said, "If Allah wills, you shall find me patient and I shall not disobey you in any way." He said, "If you want to follow me, then do not question me about anything until I tell you about it myself." So they set forth, but when they embarked in a boat to cross the river, Khidir made a hole in it. Musa said, "Did you make a hole in it to drown its passengers? You have done a weird thing." He said, "Didn't I say to you that you would not manage to have patience with me?" Musa said, "Pardon my forgetfulness. Do not be angry with me on account of this mistake." So they journeyed on until they met a boy, and Khidir killed him. Musa said, "You killed an innocent person, though he had killed nobody. Surely you've done a horrible thing." Khidir said, "Did I not tell you that you will not be able to bear with me?" Musa replied, "If I ever ask you about anything after this, you may not keep me in your company, for then I should deserve it because you will have an excuse in my case." They traveled on until they came to the people of a town. They asked them for some food, but they refused to receive them as their guests. There they found a wall on the point of falling down, so he restored it. Musa said, "If you want it, you could have demanded some wages for it." Khidir replied, "That's it. This is the parting between you and me. But first I will explain to you those acts of mine which you could not bear to watch with patience. As for the boat, it belonged to some poor fishermen who toiled on the river. I intended to damage it because there was a king after them who was seizing every boat by force. As for the youth, his parents are true believers, and we feared lest he would grieve them with his rebellion and unbelief. It was our wish that our Rabb should grant them another in his place, a son more righteous and better in affection. As for the wall, it belonged to two orphan boys in the city, and beneath it their treasure was buried. Since their father was a righteous man, your Rabb desired that those children should attain their maturity and take out their treasure. All this was done as a mercy from your Rabb. What I did was not done by my own will. That is the interpretation of those actions which you could not bear to watch with patience. O Muhammad, Prophet, they ask you about Zul Qarnayn. Say, I will recite to you some of his story. Indeed, we established his power in the land and we gave him all kinds of ways and means. So one time he followed a certain expedition towards the west and he marched on till he reached the end of the land and the start of an ocean. Where the sun was setting, he noted that it was setting in a murky spring and near it he found a people. We said, "O Zul Qarnayn, you have the option to either punish them or show them kindness." He said, "Anyone who will do wrong shall be punished. Then will he return to his Rab and be sternly punished by him. As for him who believes and does Tabah deeds, he will have a great reward and will be assigned an easy task by our command. Then he set out on another expedition towards the east and marched on, till he came to the rising of the sun. He noted it he noted it rising on a people for whom we had not provided any shelter from it. They were so backward that they did not even know how to make houses or tents for their living. He left them as they were. We had full knowledge what priority was before him. Then he set out on another expedition and marched on till he reached between two mountains where he found a people who could hardly understand his language. They requested, O Zul Karnaim, people of Gog and Magog ravage this land. Should we pay you tribute in order for you to build a wall barrier between us and them? Zul Karnaim said, that which my Rab has granted me is more than enough. Just help me with workers, and I will erect a fortified barrier between you and them. Bring me panels of iron. Finally, when he dammed up the space between the two mountains, he said, ply your bellows. They did so until the iron wall became red hot. Then he said, bring me more molten brass to pour over it. This became a barrier that Gog and Magog could not scale it or dig through it. He said, this is a blessing from my Rab, but you should know that when the promise of my Rab shall come to pass, he will level it to the ground. For the promise of my Rab is forever true. On that day, we shall let the people loose to surge like waves on one another. The trumpet will be blown, and we shall assemble the mankind all together. We shall spread hell out on display before the unbelievers who had turned a blind eye to my admonition and a deaf ear to my warning. For all of you who are asking, what is Gog and what is Magog and who are they and all of that, is it real? There was a people. There were a people. And there was an individual whose name was Zul Kuarnin. There are other names to go along with that, because really that's just saying he was a king and he was part of the Quraysh. There's more to names. Most of the time, when you're reading about somebody's name, it's just their title. It's describing a person holding office at a certain particular time. Do the unbelievers think they can take my servants as protectors to save themselves from hell instead of me? Certainly, we have prepared hell for the entertainment of such unbelievers. O Muhammad, Prophet, tell them, should we tell you the worst kind of losers relating to their deeds? Those who those whose all efforts in this worldly life had gone astray from the right way, but all along they were under the delusion that they were doing good deeds, to buy deeds. They are the ones who are disregarding the revelations of their Rab and the fact that they will meet him for accountability of their deeds in the hereafter. So their deeds will become null and will not carry any weight on the day of resurrection. Thus, the reward of such people will be hell because they had no faith and because they took my revelations and my Rasuls as a joke. However, those who believe and do Tabah deeds, they will be entertained with the gardens of paradise to live therein forever, and they will never desire to go anywhere else. O Prophet, tell them, if the ocean were ink with which to write the words of my Rab, the ocean would surely be consumed before the words of my Rab are finished, even if we brought similar quality of ink to replenish it. O Prophet, tell them, I am but a human being like you. The revelation is sent to me to declare to your, and here they go. I'm going to read this sentence. so that you all understand why I did a pause. I am but a human being like you. The revelation is sent to me to declare that your God is one God, in parentheses, Allah. Therefore, whoever hopes to meet his Rabb, let him do good deeds and join no other deity in the worship of his Rabb. Declare that there is only one who is worthy of worship, and that is Allah. La ilaha illallah. Therefore, whoever hopes to meet his Rabb, let him do Tawbah deeds and join no other deity in the worship of his Rabb. Here's the point to this, and this is why I'm stopping. Number one, Alhamdulillah, that is the end of Surah Al Kahf. And number two, people are mistaken when they say there is no other deity besides Allah. Allah is not a deity. A deity is what you fashion in your mind, what you made. Allah made you. You can't describe Allah. You can't say what Allah looks like. Allah knows everything about you. A deity is this stick over here on the ground will be what represents my higher power whenever I feel like talking to my higher power. That certain formation of that cloud right there, whenever I see a familiar formation like that certain bird over there, because only certain birds like that are that color, that's a deity. This certain feeling that I get when I sit in the sun at a certain time of the day, that's a deity. That's you identifying an aspect of life, finding comfort in it. You cannot deify the maker, creator, and owner of everything because you have not made that entity. Therefore, it is not a deity. So, no, there cannot be a deity next to Allah. Allah is not a deity. So, there are no others to compare or worship. If you don't get comfortable in a language and try and defend it and talking about how there's nothing wrong with saying this or doing that, then you need to realize exactly what you're putting out there to keep growing, what you are promoting, promulgating. We went through Surah Al Kahf because we needed to learn about the difference between believers and those who were not believers. Because if we're going to be talking about doing any kind of exchange, finances or services or anything like that, there has to be understood ethics standard. You ask me, what do I do? How about I walk into the middle of anyone who is having a group discussion about finances, and then I ask them, okay, what's your business proposal? I want to see the team that you have together. I want to see the executive team. I want to see the management. I want to see what you have for your legal structure. I want to see what's going on with how you're actually going to get out there and market to people. What is your target? What's your aim? What's your mission statement? What's your overhead? What's your profit margin? What's your profit strategy? What's your strategy against competition? What is your pro forma? If I use my degree and I walk into a financial department or a financial environment, I would expect $65,000 to be paid to me in 3 months. Now, looking at me, you would not say, I'm not going to. That's the problem. And I live in a place where that's prevalent. Instead of giving me what I deserve in order for me to be able to actually properly go about my life's work, I'm shunned. I am oppressed. I am suppressed. So when you ask me what I do a lot of things. One of the main things that I do is figure out what your hot points are and then find a solution. You could say I'm a consultant. Where I'm from costs about $25 an hour. So if I spend 2 hours with you per day, that's about $50 an hour. Now, it wouldn't be so great if I spent 2 hours a day with you telling you about how much I need to be paid. So I'm not in this to do that. I'm in this to help you. Ask me what I do. My return is to ask you what you do. Because if it's something that's beneficial to the community, I would like to offer you my services of promotion. Now, I don't just charge people. I'd rather show you how to do organic marketing strategies that would fit your service or product for the community. To the point where if I told you, how about in 3 months, you pay me $90 over a 3 month span, $30 per month, and we go through an exercise. Let's see how much you grow within those 3 months. Let me show you what I do. I'm gonna leave you with this question because let's see here. I mean, I don't even know. Can't trust my screen. It says it's only been an hour. Now, I know we did some talking and I know we did some reading. So I don't really trust that screen. I don't know what's going on with that counter. All right, so imagine knowing how to properly register yourself. Imagine knowing how to promote your product to where, yes, people outside of just your circle of friends know about you. Knowing of a surety that when you are crossing international borders or even across oceans, you are in contact with people and you are building communications, strong relationships. In the mid 90s, there was a push to develop an independent label. In the early 2000s, there was a push to become an independent artist. 2010, 2012, started considering going into learning how to write grants. But really, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't want to write grants because when you write grants, you're limited. Then you have to write a business proposal that says, I will do these things according to what you want for you, in order for you to give me an allotted amount of money. It's a grant. And so I got to thinking about it. If I can go through all the process of writing a business proposal, then there's two ways to go about this. I can write one that limits to an according to a certain budget, or we can budget towards surpassing a limit. So I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Let's see if we can get some classes on being an entrepreneur. You can get classes on how to be an intrapreneur. Use your talents inside of a larger group so that you grow and the group grows, all in the name of the larger group. So if you have some independent artists who work interdependently, they can all be part of an independent label, or some of them start figuring out how to make their own labels, and then you can have interdependent labels pushing for that same cause. You're still going to have the same venues out there that people are performing in. You got the same streaming platforms. You got the same USB drives. You got the same CDs. You got the same materials in order for people to listen to or watch whatever media. All of those things are still going to be there. The thing is, you want to be properly registered so that you can build a legacy instead of what are you going to do when they start laying people off? What am I going to do when jobs are scarce? I'm going to be about my work. The only time my work is scarce is because I wasn't actually producing content and properly giving notification to people that it exists. After that, it's up to the people. The water is there. I'm not going to force you to drink it. I'm just letting you know it's there. Here's some cups. Hint, hint. You don't even have to place your face to the water surface. Here's some cups. My brother told me, keep your focus because I've been wanting to do this a couple of years after he was born. Because before he was born, I was just fine with PBS. By the time my brother was born, cable had become a thing. And if you had cable, you would have to manually disconnect the cable cord in order to watch PBS. And you have to manually connect an antenna to it because there were two different forms of TVs. There was the one that had the antenna with the little wire system and the screws in the back. And then there was the other because they were starting to upgrade in the early 80s. So some TVs didn't have a good reception, even for the public broadcasting station. So by the time cable came around, everybody else was jumping for joy. However, I wasn't. Some of my favorite shows, and I'm not talking Sesame Street, there were certain movies that would come on. Matinee movies, old 1920s, 1940s black and white movies where you had to sit there and watch them to figure out what's going on instead of just people yelling at you to tell you what's happening in the movie. No, you had to watch it. It's like a story. My brother was born, I was already 7. By the time he was 7, I was 14. I love my brother because there's no one else out there who has the memories that he and I have. If there was a confidant in my life that I know always has my best interest and would end somebody else for disrespecting me, that's him. I trust my life with him. I trust everybody in my family's life. As they say, on everything I love. I trust his decision making. Even when I don't agree with it, I trust it. When he told me, stay focused, it's because he knew I was about to jump out on an adventure. I had just come back from an adventure. Barely was at the house for 2 weeks to hug the family and say, hey, I gotta go again. Bro, have you been okay? You've been gone for a while. Bro, I'll be honest with you. I ran through some crazy waters and some crazy rainstorms. But yeah, I'm okay. I know what I like, I know what I don't like, and I know what I gotta stay away from. Bro, keep your focus. Because we both got a dream. And the dream goes right back to the same thing, a legacy for our family, for our loved ones, on everything we love. If you've ever seen the Boondocks, and you've seen how Huey and Riley get down, fisticuff style or whatever, not two brothers that you want to fight against. So I've said what I've said, and I mean what I mean. He told me to stay focused because he knows I was in this battle before he was born. And some of the things that I've told him, some of the dreams that I have, I'm not talking about that I have a dream to do blah, blah, blah. Some of the dreams that I have just from going to sleep and waking up the next day, bro. Man, I gotta tell you what I saw last night. Sometimes he looks at me and he's got this look on his face like, please tell me you about to say something about a movie you watch, please. Nah, it was a dream, man. My brother knows that when I have dreams and I tell somebody and I describe it to him, he knows that dream could happen in the next 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 years. However, if I tell you about that dream, you're going to see it. Inshallah, I'm going to see it. That's pretty much the notification. You're going to be alive because you got to go see this happen. Hello, yeah. It's fun what to hear. Bro, I had a dream. So he tells me, keep focused. Because if this brain can work enough to rationalize the imagery that comes to it in subconscious, the things that are going on in rational, real shared conscious, the way this brain works, and I do share some information with you all. My brother's been exposed to it. And when he asked me what the blueprints were like, and I said, well, there's dot, dot, and there's this and that, and there's boom, boom, boom. Let me open up my handy dandy notebook, and there's this, and yeah, I'm gonna do that, that. And he looked at it and he smiled and he said, yeah, I like that. And then there's this, get it? Man, I don't halfway know most of what you just showed me, but I do understand you have, I can see it. All right, now if I show you, all right, this right here, now this is my passcode book, right? So if I show you this and you know that I got a certain script, so if I wrote it this way, can you read what that said? Yeah, that says dun dun dun, bam bam bam. Cool, you were paying attention. Awesome. Even if you don't know how to drive this Tonka truck, you've been in a truck before, so yes, that's all I need to know. Been in a truck before, and this get used to this one, and this is what it does. Even if you don't pick it up, if you see somebody that would know exactly what to do with it, you could tell them. Shukran Allah. Thank you to our Father. I'm looking down in my Quran right now because when we stopped in Al Kaf, it leads straight into Surah Maryam. We were already talking about the lineage. So it goes right back into the story of Zechariah, Prophet Yahya, Maryam, Allahu Salih wa Salam, her father's peace upon all of them. Tomorrow will be Sabbath. Then there's Sunday. We do the Q&A. Start up another week with the Ice Tight Studio on Monday. We can come back and lead towards the day of Usher. And I want to pick up in Surah Maryam. So for the next 2 days, we'll see where we're going to be led compared to the side notes. Because, yeah, I asked for this. It wasn't, I'm going to do it so and so and so and so way. No, I had to ask for this. Can't get in front of you 10 days out of the week just to let you know about what I'm thinking about and what I'm feeling. Had to involve other people. Riley Barkley is inspired from some things that my brother has aspirations for. I'm not going to always just sit around and describe those characters to you. It's not always going to be a surah from the Quran. My brother took his shahada, and so that's something else that we can share. If he were to watch this link, he'd say, hey, mashallah for that kuba. Father's pleased with you delivering that message. You ask me what I do. That's what I do. Thankful for every time that I'm able to do so. Yahava Achava. Our creator is love. Ahava Ahava. Love is love. That's complete compassion. Understand something. Love is not what they write in them verses in Hallmark cards. Love is to see someone else in need and you go and you help them to the best of your ability, whether they asked you for it or not, whether they say thank you or not, and you go about your way. That's love. Ametaba, Ametofo. That means compassion in both Chinese and Japanese. Yahava Shalom Ad Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Barakatuh. Father's peace and blessings be upon you. Insha'Allah, Ya Allah, Yubarik Alima wa Sahaba. Alhamdulillah, Ashukranallah, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Ameen. In the name of our Father, by our Father's will, may blessings be upon the community and those who have taken the promise. All praises to the Most High. All praises to our source of sustenance and mercy. Ameen. Till next time, many much love and respect.